Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be showing you all the best features of the Oppo Reno 6 5G. By the way, I've already posted a dedicated video for the tips and tricks section where I've talked about many things which I won't be covering in this video. So definitely check out that video as well. Link will be in the description. Now with that said, the most highlighting feature about this phone would be its performance. This phone sports a Dimensity 900 processor with Mali G86 MC4 GPU with 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM and 128GB of storage. These are the benchmark scores. Purely in terms of performance, this is definitely one of the best phones from Oppo in this price segment. Next, this phone also has a pretty impressive display. It has a massive 6.4-inch AMOLED display with Full HD Plus resolution, 90Hz screen refresh rate, and a peak brightness of 750 nits. This is one of the best displays in this price segment. As it's an AMOLED display, colors look much more vibrant and the blacks are true blacks, and that 90Hz screen refresh rate makes everything look much more smoother. Next, this one also has some pretty impressive charging speeds. This one actually comes with a 65W SuperVOOC 2.0 charger, and you can charge your phone completely from 0 to 100% in just 28 minutes. If you're just gonna charge it up to 80%, it's gonna be charged much faster. So the charging speeds on this phone are really gonna be impressive. This phone also supports reverse charging, where you can actually use your phone like a power bank and charge other phones, which is obviously something I would definitely not recommend. Next, this one also has some pretty impressive cameras. On the rear, it has a triple camera setup with a 64MP primary camera with 81° field of view, and for selfies, we get a 32MP camera with f2.4 aperture. These are some sample shots. Next, this one also has a pretty fast in-display fingerprint scanner. Well, like most other phones in this price segment, this one also has a pretty fast in-display fingerprint scanner and unlocks the phone within a second. Here's a quick preview. Next, we also have the face unlock feature on this phone. In good lighting conditions and even in low lighting conditions, it works really well. It unlocks the phone within a second. In low lighting conditions, it also increases the lock screen brightness to make the face unlock feature work much faster. In complete darkness, face unlock still works, but it depends on the distance between your phone and the face and the lock screen wallpaper as well. Here's a quick preview. Next, this phone also has a wide angle camera, well, just like most other phones. Next, we have Ultra 64MP mode. Even though this phone has a 64MP primary camera, every time in auto mode it takes a 16MP picture because of pixel binning. For some reason, if you want to take a bigger 64MP picture, you can use this mode. Next, we have Ultra Steady mode. This is a brand new feature from Oppo which super stabilizes the footage. Here's your regular footage recorded in normal mode and a comparison with the Ultra Steady mode. Next, we have Ultra Macro mode. This phone comes with a dedicated 2MP macro camera, which obviously allows you to take macro shots. So if you're someone who likes to take macro shots or 2 close-up shots, you can use this Ultra Macro mode. Next, we have a new time-lapse modes. Well, we have the regular time-lapse window, and there's a new option over here for the blur effect. We have 2 types of blur effects, circle and lines, and you can also change the amount of blur intensity you want. This is not a big feature, but if you're someone who likes to take a lot of time-lapse, then it might be pretty handy. Next, we have dual view video. Now this feature allows you to use the footage from both the front and rear cameras at the same time. There are 3 different modes. First, we have the split screen mode, where both the front and rear cameras get half of the screen. Next, we have a round mode, where the front camera footage is overlaid on the rear camera footage as a small round pop-up. We also have the rectangle mode, where the same front camera footage is overlaid on the rear camera in the form of a small rectangular pop-up. It's a pretty cool feature, especially if you are someone who likes to vlog a lot. Next, we have a new feature called video bokeh for the front camera. And just like the name suggests, we can record video with a background blur effect even with the front facing camera. Earlier we used to have this feature for the rear camera, but now we also have it for the front camera. Next, we have a brand new personalization section where you can do all kinds of customizations. Right now there are very limited options, but we might get more options with a future update. Next, we have double tap to lock. Now once you enable this feature, you can just double tap on an empty area of your home screen to lock your phone. This feature works only with the default launcher. So if you install any third-party launcher, say like the Nova launcher, then this feature will not work. Next, we have Super Nighttime Standby Mode. Now once you enable this feature, your phone will enter a nighttime standby mode where it will consume less power when it is idle at night. Your phone will do anything and everything to consume less power, and because of that you might not receive notifications or messages on apps like WhatsApp immediately. So this feature will definitely improve your battery life, but at night time you might not get messages quickly. Next, we have some new fingerprint animation styles. So these are all the different styles and you can choose the one that you like. Now coming back to the camera features once again, next we have AI screen enhancement. Now this is a very unique feature available only on this phone or Realme and Oppo phones. And once you turn it on, everything will pop out, colors will look super saturated, and images will look very pleasing. Next, we have portrait mode for both the front and rear cameras. Now this isn't a very big feature, it's been around for many years, so I won't talk about much. These are some sample shots. Next, we have stickers. Using this feature, we can add these stickers to your face using both the front and rear cameras and take some unique pictures. It comes with a few stickers pre-installed, and you can also download a lot more. Next, we also have a dedicated face beauty mode. Now this brings in a lot of cool features, like it can smoothen your skin, make your face thinner and even smaller, and do all sorts of crazy stuff. Have a look at this. Next, this phone also supports slow motion video recording. This phone can record at 120fps at 1080p resolution, 240fps at 720p resolution, and an insane 960fps at 720p resolution. Next, this phone has electronic image stabilization for both the front and rear camera video recording. This applies only at 1080p, and here's a quick sample. Next, this phone has support for recording video in 4K resolution. You can change the video resolution from the toggles at the top. Now here's a sample footage recorded in 4K resolution, downscaled to 1080p. For the rear camera, it has just one gesture, that's tap to take pictures. Just enable this feature and touch the preview window to take a picture. Now for the front camera, it also has the palm gesture, and once you enable this feature, whenever your phone sees your palm, it takes a picture in 2 seconds. This feature is really handy for taking selfies. Next, we have AI color portrait. You can find it from the filters, and once you enable this feature, you can capture the subject in color while the background is in black and white. This feature works better with human subjects. It also has blue, green, red filters, as they call them, sky blue, forest green, and crimson red, where it shows only those colors and rest of the image is in black and white. And you can also record videos in this mode, and this works at night as well. Next, we have night flare portrait mode. It's basically a combination of night mode and portrait mode, where you can capture better looking portrait shots even at night with great details. Next, we have night mode. Now this is the famous feature that allows you to take better pictures in low lighting conditions. Whenever you are taking pictures in low lighting conditions, just make sure to switch to the night mode to get better pictures. These are some sample shots. Going on next, this phone also has slow motion video recording for the front facing camera. And here's a quick preview. Next we have video bokeh mode. In video recording mode, we have a dedicated toggle for the video bokeh effect, and once you enable it, you can record video with a background blur effect for your subject. Next we have always on display. Now this is something you might have already heard or seen, and you can enable this feature from the display settings. Once you enable this feature, you can see your clock face on the lock screen. With that said, here's a quick preview. By the way, we can also schedule it to automatically turn on and turn off at a specific time. Next we have dark mode. This is another famous feature, and once you enable this feature, it'll change all the UI elements to the dark mode or the dark theme. Things like notification panel, home screen, or even settings all change to the dark mode. Some of the system applications like the phone dialer SMS application also change to the dark mode. Some Google applications like Play Store and YouTube also automatically change to the dark mode. Next we have Super Power Saver mode. Once you enable this feature, your phone turns on dark mode, restricts performance, reduces battery usage, and gives you few applications that you can use, and also gives you the option to add few more apps. In this mode, phone's standby time increases drastically. By the way, we can still use internet in this mode. It does consume more battery, but it is definitely better than the regular mode. Going on next, we can also change the screen refresh rate of this phone. 90Hz, 60Hz, but personally I'll set it to 90Hz to have a much more consistent experience. Next we have edge lighting for notifications. Once you enable this feature, every time you get a notification whenever your phone is locked, the edges of the phone simply glow with different animations. Next we have eye comfort mode. It's just another name for the reading mode, and once you enable it, it puts a warm tint on the screen to reduce the blue light emitted from the display. It also has the black and white mode, where it turns the whole display black and white. Going on next, we can also change the swipe down gesture for your home screen launcher. From these settings, you can change the action for the swipe down gesture. You can either go with a notification bar or with a quick search. Personally, I like to go with the notification bar. So whenever I'm on the home screen, I just need to do a swipe down gesture to pull down the notification bar. Next we have icon pull down gesture. Once you enable this feature, you can do a quick gesture on the bottom part of the screen on your home screen to bring all the icons on the home screen easily accessible to your finger. It's not a big feature, but can be quite handy. Next we have double tap to lock. Once you enable this feature, you can just double tap on your home screen in a blank area to lock your phone. This feature works only with the default launcher. If you install any third-party launcher, then it won't work. Next, this phone also has Dolby Atmos sound enhancement. Now this feature is only available for the headset, and if you're using a headset, it can definitely improve your overall audio experience. We have a new navigation gesture called swipe from both sides. Now once you enable this feature, you can swipe from the bottom to go home, swipe and hold for recent taps, and finally swipe from the left side or right side to go back a step. Now going on next, we have a super handy shortcut to trigger Google Assistant with the power button. Once you enable this feature, you can long press the power button to trigger Google Assistant. It's a nice feature and can be quite useful while using the navigation gestures, but I don't think this power button will last longer if you use it continuously. Next, I'm going to show you how to take screenshots on this phone. Well, there are mainly two ways. One is by using the buttons. Just press the volume down and power button both at the same time to take a screenshot. Next, we also have the 3-finger screenshot gesture. Once enabled, you can just swipe down using 3 fingers to take a screenshot. By default, this gesture is always enabled. Next, I'm going to show you how to take a long screenshot. First, take a screenshot. You can either use the buttons or the gesture. Once you have the preview of the screenshot, just swipe it down to take a long screenshot. If you have already opened the screenshot, you can click this button to take a longer screenshot. Next, we have partial screenshot. For this feature, we are going to use that 3-finger screenshot gesture in a different way. Once you enable this feature, you can just touch and hold the screen to take a partial screenshot. You just need to place the 3 fingers, then slide it slowly to take a partial screenshot. Now going on next, this phone even comes with screen recording. I really don't know why you want to record your screen, especially on an Android phone, but for some reason if you want to record it, you can start it from the notification toggles, or you can also use the smart bar which can be accessed from anywhere by swiping on the right side corner. You can stop recording by clicking the stop button on the floating bubble. Next we have flash on call. Once you enable this feature, every time you get a call, flashlight on the phone blinks to give you an indication. This feature can be quite useful when your phone is in silent mode. Next we have a feature called vibrate when you answer an end call. Just like the name suggests, every time you answer a call or end a call, your phone vibrates. It's not a big feature but adds to the overall experience. Next we have a feature that identifies unknown numbers. Once you enable this feature, whenever you get a call from any unknown number, your phone will check its online database and try to find the contact name. This can be quite useful to check spam calls. Next we have a feature called screen on end calls with power button. Once you enable this feature, you can end calls by pressing the power button when the display is on. When the display is off, clicking the power button just turns on the display. Next we have split screen mode. Now split screen mode has been on Android for a very long time, but on this phone we have some more features. Now to start a split screen mode, as always you can simply press and hold the recent tabs button, or on this phone you can also use the 3-finger gesture. Simply swipe up using 3 fingers to open the current application in a split screen mode. You can choose a secondary application from the list below. Personally, I like this gesture and I wish every other phone has it. Next we have some screen off gestures like double tap to wake. Just enable it and double tap the screen to wake it up. Next you can draw an O to open the camera application. We can also draw a V to toggle the torch. We can also draw characters like greater than or less than for music controls. And finally, you can add custom gestures like you can draw a W to open WhatsApp, M for phone dialer, and so on. Next we have raise to wake. Now once you enable this feature, you can simply raise your phone or pick it up from a table and your phone wakes up and then displays the lock screen. Next we have flip to mute incoming calls. Now just like the name suggests, once you enable this feature, you can flip your phone to silence an incoming call. Next we have one-handed mode. You can enable this feature from the toggles, and once you click on it, screen size will shrink and your phone becomes much more usable one-handed. Once you're done, you can click the button on the top corner to go full screen. Next we have digital well-being. Now this is a feature from Google that tracks all your usage on your phone and gives you a complete analysis of which apps you're using more, and then helps you limit your usage and block notifications from those applications. Next we have wind down. This feature is part of digital well-being, which can help you sleep faster at night. Using this feature, you can schedule your phone to turn on grayscale mode and do not disturb mode automatically at a specific time. Next we have OSIE visual effect. This feature slightly improves the picture quality of the display by making content from apps like TikTok, VMate and more look more pleasing. It does work, but right now only few applications support it and it does drain your battery. Now going on next, this phone has a very unique feature called Smart Sidebar. It is enabled by default and this is how it looks like. You have some quick shortcuts, quick actions and some quick applications. You can access it from anywhere. Even while watching videos or playing games in full screen mode, you can swipe near the notch area to bring it up. From here you can quickly launch applications, take a screenshot, record the screen, block banner notifications, and finally open few applications in a floating window. Next we have Assistive Ball. Now just in case if navigation gestures are not really your thing, but you still want a much more immersive experience, you can enable Assistive Ball. Once you enable this feature, you'll see a floating bubble that can do multiple actions. Now first you need to select the operation mode. You have gestures and tap mode. I'll go with gestures. Now you can tap once to go back, double tap for multitasking, and touch and hold to go home. If you select tap, once you click it, you just get additional options, just like the iPhones and iPads. Now this is another way to interact with your phone and gives you a much more immersive experience. Next we have Startup Manager. Now just like the name suggests, it's a feature that allows you to stop applications from auto starting in the background. Now most of these applications automatically start in the background and then drain your battery life. And for the most part, just applications like maybe Instagram or WhatsApp needs to be allowed to auto start. So you can disable auto start permission for all these applications and further improve the battery life. Next, we have an app lock built into the system. And unlike most phones, we can unlock locked applications either by using the password or the fingerprint scanner, and even by using the face unlock feature. So if you're already using face unlock feature on your phone, most of the time you won't even see the lock screen. Now because of this one particular feature, you can lock any application you want and you won't be inconvenienced in any way. Next we have clone apps, which is a feature that allows you to use two instances of the same application. Like you can have two WhatsApp accounts, two Facebook accounts and two Instagram accounts on the same phone. This is definitely a very handy feature, but it is still limited to only very few applications. Let's say if I want to use two Paytm accounts on the same phone, we can't do that. Next we have Game Space. Now this feature or application just tries to improve your gaming experience and gives you a lot more cool features. Now once you add all your games to this Game Space and then open that game, your phone will divert all the resources to improve your gaming experience. It means faster game load speeds, better visuals, and more than that, it gives you the option for Do Not Disturb mode, where you won't be interrupted with annoying notification sounds or visual disturbances like banner notifications. You also have different power profiles to improve the performance or battery life. It also gives you the option to disable auto brightness, which is missing on many phones out there. Next we have Private Save. Now this feature is more like an application or like a vault where you can hide all kinds of files. Just like the app lock, we can have a completely different password from your lock screen and we can unlock it using your fingerprint or your facial data. Personally, I suggest you to use Gallery Vault. Next we have Automatic On-Off. Now this is another weird name for schedule power on and power off, and using these settings, we can automatically turn on and turn off your phone at a specific time. Next we have Kid Space. If your kid is troubling you about your phone, he wants to play some games or maybe sometimes he accidentally purchases stuff, Kid Space can be quite useful for you. Once you configure this Kid Space, your kid will be able to only use specific applications that you choose and he will be able to use your phone only for a specific amount of time. Once again, it's a nice feature, but if your kid already knows your password, it's completely useless. So guys, those were all the best features. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video and make sure you check out my video on tips and tricks section. Link will be in the description. Now if you're planning to buy this phone, please use the link in the description. It always helps the channel, and if you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and I'll try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.